Welcome to another edition of Bleav in Giants. Bob Poppin, two-time Super Bowl champion, the newsmaker, Carl Banks, and Giants playing the Rams this weekend. And we are all fired up to welcome our guest to the show. He is John Ross, Giants wide receiver. John, welcome to the show. How's everything going with you?
Oh, thanks for having me. Everything's going good. Just preparing for this weekend, and everything's going real good right now. Just getting ready.
So, John, I know that this is tough for you guys because you can look at the talent on this team and know that there's some games that have been left out there. What is the mindset now going into a game against the Rams? It's literally one of the better teams in football, but is there a mindset that says, hey, it's up to us to get it done?
Absolutely. And we knew that from day one. So we just got to continue coming together, keep working hard, keep working at it, keep stacking the days. And that's what we've been working on. Just focus on one day at a time and just try to get better from there.
John, speaking about getting better, everybody knows about your speed, much ballyhooed, and we know how fast you can run. But how cool was it in the game in New Orleans to show everybody the kind of route runner that you've always been, that you don't get credit for? Because in that overtime drive, you made a couple of exceptional plays to kind of keep that thing going along the way. Just talk a little bit about that part of your game that people always seem to want to miss.
I think it just comes with the territory. I'm going to have to deal with that for the rest of my life, just being a fast guy. And I learned to accept it. But the chances that I do get to showcase, some other routes and some other techniques and things like that, I have to take advantage of. And I feel like I haven't always done that. So going forward, that's kind of my focus. Every opportunity that I get to be, in a different space, I want to make sure that I showcase that. So when those times come and my number is called, I can, show up over and over again.
So, John, speaking of route running, and you guys are facing one of the league's best corners, how important is it when you're playing a guy like Jalen Ramsey not to tip your hand and to be very precise in what you do?
It's very important. With great guys like that, who's obviously one of the best guys in the league, you kind of got to bring your best stuff every single time. There can be no slip-ups, no margin for error at all. So you just got to, like I said, bring everything you got. When you play guys like that, especially with a front seven that they have, So, we have to be on our best game. We have to be where we're supposed to be on timer routes and everything.
John, what about, what you've had to deal with injuries so far, in camp and stuff like that. And then you come off IR, you have an impact. You had an impact in the game last week. Same thing with Kadarius Toney. Just talk a little bit about the work that you guys put in to get yourselves ready. So when you finally got the chance, you were kind of ready to go.
Yeah, our training staff, they do a great job of getting guys ready. Through camp, we're running hard. We were doing everything that we needed to do to stay in shape and make sure we can get out there. So when we did get out there that first week, it already had felt like we'd been playing for so long, just how well prepared we were, based off of the treatment and the different things that they had us doing. I was with Kadarius too, so we were doing the same things, mirroring each other and things like that, and things were going good. So like I said, once we got out there that week, we were playing New Orleans, it felt like we had already been practicing.
Hey, John, I want to jump in here though. Like you mentioned the training staff, Ronnie Barnes, he was the trainer when Carl was playing.
That's crazy. We always talk about that too. That's actually really crazy and impressive, to see him still, running the show and doing things. Ronnie's great.
Listen, Ronnie Barnes was a lot nicer to you guys than he was to us because he had coaches that wanted players on the field no matter what.
Uh-huh.
So Ronnie used to, my rookie year, I had some injuries, nothing that really bad, but like Ronnie would be like, this head coach is going to fire my ass if you ain't practicing next week. It was just like all kinds of little head games he played with you to make sure you get out there. It was so funny. I told Ronnie I should sue him for child abuse now.
Ronnie's amazing, man. It's good to be around people with great spirit, man. And the longevity he has, it's awesome to see. Yeah. It's good to witness, and love to see him keep going and doing everything that he's doing.
What's the wide receiver room like now? Injuries aside, you guys have some really, really good personalities in there, a lot of great guys. And then you see the breakout game that Kadarius has, and then he comes back with a second good performance in the Dallas game. Are you guys like, what is that room like when you're watching him on tape? Obviously, he's part of your brotherhood, but like, are you genuinely happy? Are you excited? Do you guys get excited watching him as the fans every time he makes a guy miss?
To be honest, this has been one of the coolest rooms I've ever been in. As far as guys being happy for each other, guys looking out for each other, just having fun. Like, it really feels like a brotherhood. Like, sometimes it feels so much more like we siblings than anything. We forget, that we on a team, and to see him do what he can do, it's almost like rewind it, like watch this. You know what I'm saying? It's so crazy to see. He's really like a human joystick. Like, if you watch him, it's crazy to see some of the things that he does, and it amazes everybody, and everybody's so genuinely happy for everyone else, and that feels good, and it's contagious, So like, whenever someone else makes a play, you can just see if I don't know if everybody has seen it, but I scored a touchdown versus New Orleans, and you see Shepard on the sideline going crazy, and that's a great feeling you want to have, see guys happy for one another, because at the end of the day, we're all teammates, Our success is, one person's success is everyone, so we all see it that way, and we all treat each other, like I said, like brothers, and when everybody makes a play, it's just great energy from the room.
How about that route he ran to start the third quarter on Diggs? You're fast. Yeah, we're talking about, like, you're an elite athlete. Carl's anybody that plays a professional sport and gets to that level are elite, beyond elite. Even the worst guy in the team. Could you imagine trying to pull that off?
It's tough. That's real tough.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. It's real tough.
But he didn't say no.
He didn't say no. That's right.
You know why? Because he's an elite athlete.
So, well, yeah, when you have like the thing about like guys like you, Ross, who's got like this blazing speed that you're fast, but it's like you can't explain it to us ordinary people. It's like, I just took off running, dude, and I ran past him. Or like Tony making guys miss. I bet if you asked him to diagram, he's like, I don't know, I got to go back and look at it. It just happens.
It just happens that way sometimes, man. We talk about it, and if we get the look that, you get the look that you're looking for, and you take advantage of it, and it happens. Like you said, it's just very hard to explain sometimes. I like to see it as I was gifted, and I just try to use my gift, every chance that I get. And just like KT is, when you make somebody miss, I don't think you think like, oh, I'm gonna do this. He just go out there, he back in the backyard. So
it's like. We had that with Lawrence Taylor on our team, and we had a guy, David Meggett, and both guys, like, they would just do something, and you'd be like, whoa, what did you just do? And like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, it just, it happens. They're like, have to go back and see it. And it's like, oh, yeah, that was pretty good. Right. Lawrence was like, oh, yeah, I was pretty good on that play, wasn't I? So, but it's cool. So before we let you go, can you give us some insight on, or give fans a reason to believe that this team is sticking together and working towards getting better? Because you've been in sports a long time. Once the losses start to pile up a bit, the first concern is, can we stay together? What can you tell the fans to assure them, hey, look, we're still in it. We still believe in this.
Well, first off, we still come out to practice, and you wouldn't be able to tell that we're 1-5. It's good to see, and like I said, I've been somewhere else before, and like I haven't really had a winning season. I haven't been a part of it yet, but I've been there when things have been bad and things get worse. I don't see that happening here. Guys are still together, hanging out on the field, off the field. The locker room is great. Guys are having a good time. The music is playing. Everybody's still in high spirit. We all believe that it's still early. In this league, you never know. Things happen so crazy. You can go, you can go 10-0 and then lose the next 7. So it's
Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah. Right. So things like that. Anything can happen. The season can change around no matter what. You just got to stick together, and we we know what our mission is, we know what our goals are, and everyone, like I said, the relationship that the guys have on this team is amazing. I don't see nobody giving up. And I don't look forward to seeing nobody giving up. No matter what happens, I think we'll stick together. No matter what, we'll fight until we can't fight anymore. Especially with Coach Judge, he won't let us give up. And that's I think that's big as well. Our coaches won't give up on us, and we definitely won't give up on each other. So,
John, I mean, you were drafted by Cincinnati, and obviously, it's a proud organization. But now you're with the Giants, right? And as soon as you walk in the lobby, there's 4 Lombardi trophies sitting there. Throughout if you walk into the cafeteria, there's Eli avoiding the sack, and then there's the Plaxico and all those murals, and Carl's around, David Deal's around, Sean O'Hara's around. Former players are always around. Strahan will pop in every now and then. Phil Simms, you see him on TV. I mean, he's a Super Bowl MVP. What's it like to play for an organization, and do you feel a sense of responsibility when you're playing for an organization like this?
Man, I'll be honest. I'm not one of those guys who are like starstruck or anything like that. But when I walked in this building for the first time and I saw all these accolades and all these accomplishments and all these these guys with success and all this, it felt so good to be around. And that's no shade to anywhere I've been or played or anything else. But it's just there's some real history here, and it feels good to walk inside of like the indoor and look at, the banners and see world champion. That's a feeling that everybody wants to play. That's why you play this game. You want to be a world champion. And I wouldn't say it feels like a responsibility, because I feel like that's putting unreal expectations on, anyone, because, obviously that's the goal. But you don't want to say it's my responsibility coming in and win a Super Bowl. It's your responsibility to come in and do your job. And once everybody does their job, that all falls into one, and then that's how you get to that team goal. So I wouldn't say it's a responsibility, but it definitely feels amazing to be around. But it definitely sits on the back of your mind, like, this is what we need to get to. This is what you work for. This is what we all want.
Carl, you want to find out what makes them tick off the field?
Yeah, what makes you tick off the field, Ross?
You mean
what do you do away from football?
Man, I mean, I leave here. My biggest thing is I just love being a dad, man. That's my biggest thing. That's what keeps me going every single day. Seeing my son grow up and just being a dad. Honestly, that's just like my whole deal. Outside of
how old's your son? How old is your son?
Four.
Okay.
Right, so
I just turned a granddad last week.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
Well, I got a bunch of older ones, but as you can see here, I got a 6.5-year-old. So Carl, can we just give them a little wisdom of how awesome it's going to be over the next couple of years? Because this is the best. I mean, once they start getting into it a little bit, and it's t-ball and throwing a football around, whatever it is, and then they start getting into it. My son is crazy football.
I love it. And my son's already he's already starting to get in that mode. He's understanding what a touchdown is and everything. So he's getting all excited. It makes me excited. Like he's doing jiu-jitsu right now, and he's getting better, and he's showing me like, Dad, look at, he's sending me videos like, Dad, watch this, and he's getting so much better from the first time I went and saw him at a class, and it feels so good to just see him happy, and proud of himself. So I can only imagine what the next couple of years are going to be like.
So what's on your playlist?
Oh man, I'm a big R&B guy, man. It's a bunch of different R&B cats. It doesn't matter.
Give me one.
New school, old school. You know what I've been listening to lately though? For some weird reason, that Isley Brothers, the Busted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been listening to that joint lately, man. It's a smooth vibe. I've been listening to stuff like that,
Okay.
That's what I've been.
So don't tell Dion too much, because he samples a lot of dope beats and tries to write rhymes over them. So don't let him ruin a good record, all right?
No, I got you.
Hey, John, good luck this week against the Rams. We appreciate a couple minutes taking time out of your schedule, and we wish you nothing but success. I could have sworn that catch in the back of the end zone was a touchdown.
Oh, man.
I know you got more coming though.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys having me.
Thank you, man.
John. That's John Ross of the Giants taking a couple minutes to join us here on Bleav in Giants. All right, so it's fun catching up with John Ross and a little R&B, old school, new school. We're back and better than ever, Carl. All eyes are on the gridiron as teams are back for another football season. As always, BetOnline is your number one spot for all the pro and college football action this season. New updated site, interface, more odds, props, contests. BetOnline continues to be the number one source for everything that is football. And listen, if you go to the website or you use the mobile device, sign up today. You get 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Don't forget, use the promo code Bleav, BLEAV, to receive your bonus. Football, basketball, boxing, your favorite casino games. Amazing offers in 2021. BetOnline, the fastest and easiest way to bet on your favorite sports. Carl, the Giants right now. Now, we know that Galladay's banged up and Slayton's got the hammy. But eventually, they're going to get back. Man, if you have Ross and Slayton and Shepard and Galladay and Kadarius Toney and Evan Ingram, Kyle Rudolph, I mean, that's a heck of a group to have to hold the fort until you know that Barkley's ready.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about platooning player after player, and they are all making contributions. If you can get that group healthy, they're already impacting games, and it's only three guys at a time. They don't even rotate because they don't have their starters right now. But boy, when that happens, it's going to be pretty fun to watch.
All right, let's get into a little of the preview part of this thing. You and I did it on the Joe Judge Report, the TV show, so we're not giving away any of our TV show secrets here. But I'm looking at some of the things on Bob's big board, this week's Bob Big Board. It's not finished yet, but here's something that I'm a little concerned about this week. The Rams this year, according to Pro Football Focus and Next Gen Stats, they have 8 deep throws completed this year for 400 yards. Arizona has the most yardage on deep throws, 408. The Rams only had 7 all of last year. So you got Cooper Kupp, who is in the top 5 in targets, receiving yards, receiving touchdowns, and receptions. He's the only player in the NFL that's in the top 5 in all those metrics. Then you got Woods, who went for $150 last week. You got Deshaun Jackson, who's got the most touchdown catches of over 60 yards in NFL history. He's got 25 of them. How do the Giants deal with this week?
Well, you look at it from 2 ways, Bob. Defensively, it's what can you do schematically so that your safeties don't get caught up in eye candy? The obvious answer to that is playing some sort of 2 deep coverage, right? Once you get into man coverage, you better be able to hold up individually, because between Cooper Kupp and Deshaun Jackson, both guys are deep ball catchers. Somebody's got to get extra attention. Some corner is going to have some extra help. The most in vogue play, you talk about Arizona, right? The most in vogue play in this copycat league is that deep over route. You see it every week. There's a guy that starts on one side of the field, and whatever he does, he gives it time for all the eye candy on the opposite side to occupy people's attention. And they just run, 40, 50 yards down the field, and they're wide open. I mean,
and
we see
bending it, right? They're bending it.
Yeah, they're bending it across the field, and you're like, where's the safety at? Well, he either started off in the box, and the corner couldn't drop back far enough because they gave him just enough to hold him some, deep in cut or some deep out where the corner just couldn't leave. And that crossing route is clear over the top of the defense. And then, Deshaun Jackson is he's like John Ross, but, that had more success. Well, you can just line up. He's just going to run by you, and he just goes. So there's a lot to be concerned with if you cannot keep your safeties back to focus on these types of plays, meaning linebackers have got to do a good job in coverage. And here's the other part of it. If you can get a negative play on first or second down, just by chance, your pass rush will have a little bit more success because, these deep balls, they don't come their shot plays don't come every play, but these teams are moving the ball on the Giants to where the Giants don't have answers to anything, which makes them susceptible to the biggest type of plays.
What'd you see in Matthew Stafford? He's 4-1 for the first time through his first 5 games since 2011, right? It was, and all the metrics, you could see all the reasons why Coach McVay wanted to move on from Goff and bring Stafford in, because now the big play is part of their game. What about the way Stafford's playing, and what does he do well that the Giants are really going to have to be aware of this week?
Well, Matthew Stafford, I've always said, is like diet Aaron Rodgers. He's got Aaron Rodgers' arm talent. He's got the mobility of Aaron Rodgers. He just doesn't have the victories. So he's got half the calories of Aaron Rodgers. So, but he has, when you look at him, there's not a single coach or player that prepares for Matthew Stafford that doesn't look at a film and say, how are they this bad when this guy is this good? So for him, you're basically preparing for an elite quarterback. You've got to do something. You've got to take something away from this offense, meaning, I said it last week, I'll say it again, you can't allow them to play the game on their terms. Nobody talks about the Rams running game, but the Rams running game has really kept them on schedule and enabled them to hit some of these big plays. Well, the fact that nobody's talking about it may be a good reason to give them not to talk about it again this week. But the reason no one talked about it is because your defense was able to contain it. That's what you got to do. If you can do one thing, you'll give your defense a chance to do something else.
Yeah, I mean, in Henderson out of the backfield, he's got, what has he got, 80-plus scrimmage yards in 4 straight games. So what they're doing is they're running it with him. They're short passing it with him. They're using it as their running game. And, hey, you know what? They average 6.1. What's their average here? Let me look at their offense. They're number 1 in the NFL. They're averaging 6.7 yards per play. So if they are effective on first down, then they really can take the deep shots on you.
Yeah, I mean, because you're getting 6 yards, so it's 2nd and 4. What are you playing for on defense? You're not even living to get to 3rd down because they're probably going to hit a first down, whatever play they run. So you're just trying to prevent something. But listen, we look on the Rams side of the field, and they have guys that will not be denied. The Giants, and again, I've said this before, I never get into how much a team pays a player, right? A player is worth whatever team is willing to pay them. But I will say this, there are certain guys that have to play like they pay. Meaning, and I'm not saying that they're dogs in a bad way. I'm saying let the dog out in a good way. You've got to be that player. You've got to play to that talent level that we know you are. So it's not a knock on that. Man, they paying you all this money, they overpaid. No, I think they paid you right. Now prove them right. Every play, not just every once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, and their pass protection is so good. I mean, they've only given up 4 sacks this year. Andrew Whitworth, who was deemed over the hill 4 years ago, 5 years ago, is playing at an all-pro caliber level.
What are their average 3rd downs? I wonder.
I
can tell you, if they're averaging 6 yards a play, that's why the offensive line is so good at pass protecting.
Yeah, they're 48%. They're 6th in the NFL.
But their average 3rd down yardage is what, 3rd and 4?
Well, I'll tell you right now, they have look, 16 of their 3rd down attempts this year. And I can tell you how many they got.
Bob's big board.
The big board's not finished yet. but I can tell you because I got the stat pack here. They are one of the reasons why they're at 48%. All right, here we go. I'm getting the notes out here. They've had 56 third down attempts this year. But of those 56, 26 of them have been 4 yards or less.
There you go.
26 of the 56. And
so
in that group, they've hit 14 of the 26. So they're batting over 50%.
Yeah. So therein lies the success of your offensive line pass blocking. They haven't had to do a lot in long yardage situations, and that's normally where your pass rush can make an impact. But, everybody talks about quarterback not holding the ball, quarterback getting the ball out in 2 point whatever seconds. Hard to get a pass rush. It really is.
18 of their third down attempts have been 9 or more yards, but because they have big play guys and a tremendous athletes, Carl, they're hitting 9 or more yards on third down. They're 9 of 18. That's 50%. Conversely, the Giants in 9+ this year on third downs are 5 of 22.
Yeah.
Well, 22 is too many to start with, but also they've only hit 5. All right. So the other side of the ball here, they give up 48% on third downs. They're ranked 30th in the NFL. We know about Aaron Donald. Since he came into the league, he leads the NFL in sacks, quarterback hits, tackles for losses. You studied him on film. You've watched him on film. Take our audience through what you saw and how the Giants can plan to try to slow him down, not stop him.
Yeah, you're not going to stop him. Even though Nick Gates battled him well last year, they'll miss him in a game like this. But boy, he is in essence where's Waldo, because where he lines up and where he ends up is normally on the other side of the line of scrimmage, but it could be 2 or 3 gaps over. You can try to double team him. He splits double teams. Great hand and foot work by Aaron Donald. Powerful guy. But you got to block him. It's going to take an effort, and you got to be really sound in your technique when you're blocking him, because he's got really good hands. He slaps you down, he moves you, he jerks you, he pushes you. But you just got to be committed to your technique and hope your quarterback doesn't have to hold the ball too long.
And then it frees up Leonard Floyd, who's got 3 sacks. Right. Well, if one guy's taking up 2, that's going to free up other guys, which is what you've been talking about that the Giants need to do.
Yeah.
So what is a path to victory here this week? Now, and as of this taping, we don't know who's playing quarterback for the Giants. Okay.
Yeah.
As of this
the path
taping,
of victory is path of victory for the Giants: tackle well, protect the quarterback. You'll get offense just given the tools that the Giants have. They'll get offense, and you just protect the football. A guy like Tony, if he's going to play, regardless of who the quarterback is, put the ball in his hands, short, intermediate, deep. He makes things happen. Ross, there are guys that can make plays, and then if you're a running back and they throw the ball to you, catch it because it was set up for you. There are just so many other things, and look for Evan Ingram to become more of a part of this offense, as well as Kyle Rudolph. We haven't heard a lot from Kyle Rudolph, and it's not for his lack of ability. It's just they just haven't gotten him the ball. This could be a game where the tight ends could really factor in this, because so much attention will be given to your wide receivers.
Yeah, and they got to figure out a way to get the ball to Rudolph in the red zone, because that's where he's made his bones over the last 5 years. So that's incumbent upon how they scheme it, how they game plan it, whatever they do, because he's still effective enough to execute. And again, like we talked about when they signed him, Carl, it doesn't have to be perfect to throw him the ball and him to make the play.
No, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you do want your quarterback to have an opportunity to give him a chance. So that means the offensive line has got to keep the pass rush off enough for the quarterback to set and give Rudolph a chance and to throw those balls.
All right, let's just wrap it up here, man. What? Give me a little. Give our audience a little vibe on that cool shirt you're wearing.
Oh, Tie-dye, baby. This is
that new?
This, yeah, this is from the Tommy Hilfiger NFL collection, another collection I do. You can find it on fanatics.com, and you can type in Tommy Hilfiger NFL, and you'll see this.
So so you teamed up with Hilfiger and Fanatics, and you designed it.
Yep.
Nice. Oh, that's
a little
nice
tie dye.
Yeah.
But I got a beef, man. I mean, I'm not. I don't even really want to be in this good of a mood as we close the show.
Go ahead.
Because Public Storage in Scotch Plains, New Jersey, has given its patrons the runaround, the short shrift. They're sticking it to us. So Hurricane Ida comes about a month ago.
Okay.
And we don't deny that there was flooding all over New Jersey. We know that. But we were trying, along with all the other customers, to get in to view our stuff. But they would only let us in by appointment. But every time there was an appointment, they would cancel that appointment and reschedule. So we thought it was just us. And come to find out, it's most of their guys.
What's the name of the company?
Public Storage on Route 22, Scotch Plains, New Jersey. They took their sign off their property, but you'll see all the cop cars now preventing people from coming in. So when they finally get us there, under the auspices that we could go and see what we could salvage, they said, nope, can't go. There's stuff down there, and we can go into your unit and take a picture for you and show you, but you can't go down there for safety reasons. But if you sign this paper, we'll demolish all of your stuff. You give us permission to do that. We're like, well, why would we do that? And how would we know if you even did it? Because we have stuff that was sealed into plastic and then into containers. So it probably just floated during all of this stuff. Yeah, but there's so much toxic stuff down there. So I was like, oh, wow, okay. So what's going to be the ruling here? And they're like, we'll let you know. So some consulting group out of California sends everybody an email that says you will not ever have access to your stuff because it must be declared a total loss. And I want to give you the words that they use to really scare you. It says, unfortunately, the vendor has determined that the items stole at the lower levels are unsalvageable because it's become hazardous. And where's it? They use some word, micro something waste. And so I said, wow, that's interesting. How come we didn't get any of this ruling from the New Jersey State Environmental Protection Agency? It's a California company that sent these fancy words, level 3 something, but it never told us what the level of toxicity is. And, I have some stuff in there. I have my Pro Bowl jersey, and there's some other valuable stuff that I'm not going to tell you.
Because it'll get swiped.
Right.
They won't let you in, and they'll swipe it, including the stuff that your son wants back, which we won't say on the air.
Right. And so it's kind of like we're trying to get an injunction so that they don't touch anybody's stuff until we have the EPA come down there and say, yeah or no. Because here's the other thing, Bob. All the while they were telling us that we couldn't go down there because it's toxic, their workers were there with no mask, no hazmat suits, just walking through, raising up, taking pictures of your unit, shutting it back down. I'm like, well, I thought you said it was hazardous, but your guys are walking in and out of there. So we've kind of taken the offensive and gone on the news and done some other things because it's just not cool. Scotch Plains, I'm sorry, not Scotch Plains, Public Storage of Scotch Plains. I love Scotch Plains.
Well, I hope
so. Yeah, there you have it.
Although we get this movement going, so now you can help me with a rant.
Okay.
So Max was at the Cowboys game this week, right?
Uh-huh.
Made his first trip on the road. He was sad, but So let me ask you this. Define, if I said to you 2 words, recommended and should. Does that translate in anywhere in your brain? Required or mandated?
No.
Okay. So, you know, all the school districts have their own different things as far as travel. So Weehawken School District said that according to their guidelines, they said if you travel out of state, if you have to travel out of state, under the New Jersey and CDC guidelines, it is recommended that you take a test before you go. Your student quarantines for 7 days and then takes another test when they come back. Should take another test when they come back. Recommended and should. So we get back.
Not
from
must,
Dallas.
but should.
We get back, and I'm reading from the superintendent's email, the Weehawken school superintendent's email. Recommended and should are the words that are being used. So we're getting ready to send Max back to school go back to school and get back on with things on Tuesday. Well, Max can't go to school. Well, why can't he go to school? Well, because he needs to mandatory 7-day quarantine and get a test before and after. So the nurse calls, leaves a message. Like, well, wait a second. So Kathleen and I look at the email from the superintendent. I get the runaround for a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
They tell me that that's their interpretation of what they put on the piece of paper. That this is how we're interpreting what we wrote in our email.
So you write something as vague so that you can loosely interpret it the way you want as it fits your needs.
Correct.
Is that what's happening?
Yeah, all the other school districts in the state are handling things differently. Had we known that it would be mandatory that you do this and required to do this, then maybe Max wouldn't have gone to Dallas. But it wasn't. It said recommended and should. Now, anybody out there watching this, you better check your school district and check out the verbiage, because that is not mandatory and required. And I've been on the phone with these people, and it's pissing me off because my kids missed an opportunity to go to school, and I don't like the loose playing with facts. And I said to the superintendent today, I said, you need to write it better, because the way you wrote it and the way you all want to interpret it ain't legit. It's too legit to quit. So like you with the storage unit, me with the Weehawken school system, I'm pissed. And I've let that be known, because you cannot, well, that's the way we've been doing it. Well, you know what? No one challenged you on it. But recommended and should does not mean mandated and required. You and I are required and mandated at least once a week to get a COVID test from the Giants.
Correct.
NFL rules. You and I were mandated and required to get vaccinated, whether you wanted to or not. That's your own personal thing. But in order to work in the NFL, whether you're a coach, a player, coach, front off, anybody else, you are required, or else you can't work.
Yep.
I got to show my vaccination with Golf Channel.
But they never said we recommend that you should. It was, here's you're mandated and you must.
Doesn't say you will not be allowed back in the school.
No, I'm talking about our requirements.
Our requirements don't say should.
It said must. If you want to work, you must.
You will not be allowed in the press box unless you can prove that you were fully vaccinated.
Yep.
So I'm pissed. I'm pissed at the Weehawken School District. I'm pissed at the vague, loose playing with the facts. And that's my rant for today.
And here's the thing, Weehawken School District. When you are loose with that type of stuff, it normally comes back to bite you. Because what else are you writing so loose that you can kind of skirt around some things? If something major were to happen and you were not absolute when you needed to be, it comes to bite you in the butt.
All right. That's our rant for today. Tell a friend to tell a friend, right, Carl?
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
We want to thank John Ross of the Giants for taking a couple minutes to join us today. We'll see you next week. Don't forget, I'm going to give the call to action one more time. Head to the website, Bet Online, #1 spot for pro and college football action across the season. And make sure you use the promo code Bleav, BLEAV, to receive your bonus. Bet Online, where the game starts. So for Carl Banks, I'm Bob Papa. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. We'll see you next week for another edition of Bleav in Giants.